You said you've been targeted over the last 10 years. Can you describe what precipitated your targeting?
Yes, reporting the truth about Benghazi. I was attacked by one of those NGOs that masquerades as a nonpartisan watchdog. In violation of its 501(c) status, it occupies a highly partisan position. I'm talking about Media Matters for America. I'm sure there's many doctors in this room, scientists who've been attacked by the same people that run that. David Brock, for example, another political assassin, now runs an organization called Facts First USA, which is designed to make sure that your research, Dr. Hazan, never reaches the people or the public. There are other organizations like Defeat Disinfo, which claims to be a PAC that goes after disinformation, particularly set up to target COVID and throughout COVID with General Stanley McChrystal and the other people that advise that organization. But Senator Johnson, it's not a secret that these organizations exist. What is not widely known and talked about is that it's paid for by us. It's paid for by the taxpayers in your omnibus spending bills that get shoved through the House and the Senate against the will of the people of this country. There are cutouts for these NGOs, and what they do is they launder this money, they pass it from one NGO to the next, and in the name of preventing the spread of disinformation, they censor, silence, intimidate, and punish. I said that this is a death sentence for journalists. It's how you murder a journalist without killing them. It's how you murder a scientist without killing them. It's how you murder a doctor without killing them. It's how you murder the vaccine injured when they haven't died yet. It's how you finish them off and everybody else in their family. And it's time for people in this building who come to work every day here to serve us. This is the only country where we, the people, are the government. This is a government for the people, of the people, and by the people. And the same is said for so-called journalists. Del Bigtree, this man, has been targeted for simply going to the FDA hearings and filming them when they approve vaccines. Just filming them, not doing a thing, and putting that out and showing people there is no real approval process. They didn't actually do their jobs. And for that, he's been targeted for years, long before COVID ever hit. So it's time now for us to stop taking taxpayer funds to slit our own throats.
Welcome to the Inconvenient Truths. Today we're going to be kind of giving my analysis on NGOs, national global organizations. And these national global organizations like the WHO, the World Health Organizations, NGOs like this, has been given some type of credibility in our country. And I'm kind of going to push back on it. I think this is a group of political assassins, as Laura Logan has called out, right? Laura Logan calls out how the U.S. government funds NGOs to be their political assassins, how our taxpayer money essentially is being used, as she described, to slit our own throats. And the reason why I want to talk about this video is that a lot of people give a lot of credibility to these institutions, the CDC, right? She made in the intro, she made an example of how someone just merely filmed what was going on in these rooms and he got arrested. The research of doctors, scientists that put out information that goes against the narrative that these globalist organizations want the world to disseminate. They restrict access to it. They kind of put it in the dark corners of the internet. This is a similar thing that happened to Thomas Sowell. Why not a lot of people know who Thomas Sowell is, at least not in the mainstream, but in the underground on the internet. Thomas Sowell is famous because people have realized, oh my God, why wasn't I not exposed to this information before? It's because there's something corruption happening in our knowledge system. And this is something I think might be my niche, not my niche, is the knowledge system. My argument is that a lot of the information that challenges the contrarian view to a lot of these mainstream narrative opinions, concepts, and assumptions that we have at a societal level has been filtered out to prevent people from being exposed to it. So that way they naturally come to the conclusion that, oh, this must be true. Systematic racism must exist. Yes, racial disparities only exist because of racism, not because of other factors. And this stuff gets filtered out by our mainstream media apparatus. And this is why a lot of journalists are being called propagandists. This is why I make the Inconvenient Truth, because I believe that the contrarian view has not been exposed properly in our discourse, in our public knowledge system. People are aware of all their arguments. People are aware of what the left thinks about, but no one's aware of what the right thinks about things. The libertarians think about things, right? And this is by design. So I kind of want to get more into the NGOs. I don't want to talk about stuff surrounding the vaccine because last time I got a strike on my channel because I did medical misinformation. And the funny part is they cited the WHO institution about this stuff when my whole video was meant to critique the fallacy of authority that the WHO institutions have. This whole video is about to be very centered on the fallacy of authority. Just because someone in authority says something is true does not make it true. It just means that they have they're more likely to have a better guess on things than someone else. But that doesn't necessarily mean their position is unassailable. Oh, the WHO institution said this is the thing, so therefore it's the thing. The WHO got it wrong just as much as anyone else. You two want to push authoritative sources, but authoritative sources has pushed the most disinformation in our country, right? So I want to react to this video, and I'm probably going to put a clip of this video here where a guy named Barrett Winston challenges that every public truth-seeking institution is under simultaneous attack. And this is the reason why NGOs are corrupt. This is the inconvenient truth about NGOs, is that they're not some group of or coalition of justice that's just trying to make the world better. No, it's a special interest group trying to exert control, leverage, and disinformation across the platform, across the institutions, governments, to get a certain worldview so that they can be in control. They have standing. They protect their authority, their credibility. This is all NGOs are. These watchdogs, we're pushing against disinformation, but they're pushing the biggest disinformation. They can't disprove why, hey, climate change deaths has gone down by 99.25%. Ridiculous. Right? And I'm gonna go on this tirade, but first I want you guys to check out this clip. So let's take a look.
To understand the pattern that we are gathered here to explore, because the pattern is larger than federal health agencies and the COVID cartel. If we do zoom out and ask, what are they hiding? The answer becomes as obvious as it is disturbing. They are hiding everything. It will be jarring for many to hear a scientist speak with such certainty. It should be jarring. We are trained to present ideas with caution as hypotheses in need of a test. But in this case, I have tested the idea, and I am as certain of it as I am of anything. We are being systematically blinded. It is the only explanation I have encountered that will not only describe the present, but also, in my experience, predicts the future with all but perfect accuracy. The pattern is a simple one. You can see it clearly and test it yourself. Every single institution dedicated to public truth-seeking is under simultaneous attack. They are all in a state of collapse. Every body of experts fails utterly. Individual experts who resist, or worse, in an attempt to return their institutions to sanity, they find themselves coerced into submission. If they won't buckle, they are marginalized or forced out. Those outside of the institutions who either seek truth alone or who build new institutions with a truth-seeking mission face merciless attacks on both their integrity and expertise, often by the very institutions whose mission they refuse to abandon. There is a saying in military circles, once is a mistake, twice is a coincidence, 3 times is enemy action. I have no doubt that given an hour, the people on this panel could point to 100 examples of the pattern I have just described, while finding even a handful of exceptions would pose a significant challenge. We are left in a fool's paradise. Our research universities spend huge sums of public money to reach preordained conclusions. Professors teach only lessons that are consistent with wisdom students have picked up on TikTok, even when those lessons contradict the foundational principles of their disciplines. Once proud newspapers like the New York Times and Washington Post only report important stories after they have become common knowledge. Morticians must now raise the alarm over patterns missed by medical examiners. The CDC has become an excellent guide to protecting your health, but only for people who realize you should do the opposite of whatever it advises. The courts, the last holdout in this ongoing inversion of reality, are now regularly used as a coercive weapon of elites against those who threaten them.
Wow. Hey, I think this is going to be one of my most important inconvenient truths. And before I continue, I'll ask you guys, please like the video. Please share the video. Hey, give me a comment. Comment so far. What are your thoughts about this? Has everything that's been stated so far true? Have you observed your own examples of this misinformation that's being bred and forced down our throats? Systematic blindness. This is the truth. This is the reality of NGOs. NGOs just want to control. Hey, here's the preordained opinion. Here's the preordained bias. Police brutality is a problem in Black America. The police are the most dangerous thing to a black man. That's the preordained ideal. And if research that goes against this preordained idea comes out, hey, don't release that. We don't want to. You could hurt your career with this. Roland Fryer. We've seen examples of this. And this is what I'm talking about. This is how democracy dies, right? This is why democracy don't work. Because it's an easy game to play. Okay, the majority of our populace is ignorant. So we'll take advantage of their ignorance. Repeat a lie often enough and it will one day become true. Right? It's socialists say this all the time. NGOs are socialist. Like, globalism is socialism. That's what it is. So when you have a national global organization trying to tell you, oh, this is how you're supposed to view things, don't be surprised when they use socialist tactics. This is why censorship is not good at all. This is why I don't trust major institutions anymore. I did a video. I'll probably link it for this one at the end of the video. But this is why I don't trust major institutions anymore. They have to earn my trust again. CDC comes out with stuff like, male with female hormones can breastfeed their children, even though science early on shows that all the hormones that it takes for a man to be able to breastfeed his child, it'll be bleeding into the breast milk, and it will be detrimental to the health of the baby if a man breastfeeds his child or children. But what the CDC says today, it's fine. There's no health risk for men breastfeeding their baby. Trans women feeding their baby. Look at the ridiculousness. This should show pure corruption of our knowledge system, and we wonder why so much Americans are so ignorant. This is the reality. Because for socialists, how lucky is the government that its people are stupid? They're literally creating a fool's paradise, as the Dr. Brett Winston has said. They're literally creating a fool's paradise. You want more examples? Jordan Peterson highlighted something that Matt Walsh posted. Cowardice is in plentiful supply. Today I ask for courage. Courage to stand up. Courage to speak out against this stuff. Because the only way this stuff goes away is if the masses stand up. This is why I'm a populist. For the people, by the people, of the people. Because now these institutions, they lost all credibility with me. Only 58% of scientists were willing to affirm the absolute, indisputable scientific fact that human sex is binary. Imagine if only 58% of psychiatrists would agree that physicists would agree that gravity exists. That's how insane this is. The entire scientific field has become a sham. This is how science loses credibility. This is why when I get these little climate changes in my comment section, say, Kenny, you're a science denier. I say, what science you talking about? What you're talking about is a religion. Climate changers are a religious cult. That's what it is. You want to lambast Christians, Muslims, all religious people as cultists? You have a secular cult. You're part of a secular cult that worships the earth more than you worship your own humankind. Imagine that. You want another one? Surprise, surprise. Vegans entirely captured by the nutrition industrial complex. The more plant-based you go, the more ultra-processed slop you consume. Consumptions of ultra-processed foods by pesco vegetarians, and vegans associated with duration and age at a deteriorate. Sorry, I can't read today. Associations with duration and age at diet initiative. Higher avoidance of animal-based foods were associated with higher concentrations of ultra-processed foods, which is not good for your health. So vegan lifestyle aren't healthy. That's why, look at the stuff they got you to buy into, because they filter out information that goes against your narrative. The truth should be as popular as the lie, but what gets clicks? Human nature, we're built up to pay attention to more negative circumstances, not positive ones. Right? So when something negative happens, when something rare happens, it gets all the attention. But when the correction comes, you don't hear a peep. I just exposed this same kind of concept with the mainstream media about a hate crime hoax. You can check out that video as well on my YouTube channel, on my Rumble channel, if you're watching this on Rumble. Come on, guys. This is the inconvenient truth here. And I want him to finish his thought. So let's get back into it.
Of elites against those who threaten them. We have literally witnessed the Department of Homeland Security attempt to set up a truth ministry and declare accurate critique of government as a kind of terrorism. To my fellow patriots in the West, the pattern is unmistakable. I cannot tell you with any certainty who they are or what they hope to accomplish, but I can tell you that we are being systematically denied the tools of enlightenment and the rights guaranteed in our Constitution. We, those who remain dedicated to the values of the West, must fight this battle courageously, and we must win. For if we do not stem the tide, the result will be a dark age that differs from prior dark ages only in the power and sophistication of the coercive instruments wielded by those who will rule us.
Wow. This should piss off anyone watching this video. Like, literally. Like, this is the argument I say about to black people too. I say, hey, how can you hate somebody you don't even know? Black people, like, this is common thing, stereotype. Black people hate Republicans. And if you ask a black person why you hate Republicans, the number one thing that's gonna come out of their mouth, because they're racist. Who told you that? Mainstream media, CNN, MSNBC, CBS. Left. You just told me a bunch of left-wing sources. So you're in a left-wing echo chamber believing that you're getting the truth. Have you ever heard it from their side point of view? Have you ever thought and perceived that maybe there's a good reason why people support Trump? Nope, never crossed their mind. But then when I call it out, they're going to say, oh, Kenny, black people aren't as ignorant as you think they are. Yes, you are. I believe black people are the most ignorant voters, in my opinion, because you're just not politically motivated and politically informed like that. You guys, we care about things more than politics. That's white people stuff, right? Right? But this is the kind of folly that all of us has fallen into. This is the majority of people, majority of voters. Remember, I already put it on this channel. 33% of voters actually know what's going on. Only 33%. And I'm being gracious there. Moderate to high political knowledge. Everyone else, not a clue in the world. Rationally ignorant. Because there's no benefit for people to know what the hell's going on in the country. And these people in mainstream media, right, these NGOs, they take advantage of that. And they use this to manipulate you. This is why democracy always fails. This is why we're a republic. This is why we've been warned by our forefathers, by Benjamin Franklin. It's a republic if you can keep it. Because imagine, let's say the mainstream media just decided democracy, we're a democracy, hey, the electoral college is not really a democratic system. We need to change it to fit our democracy. And 77% of Americans believe it. And then we start to vote on it. Bro, we vote for our own downfall. Because at that point, they're like, oh, we got them to convince them that to change their republic into a democracy. What else can we get them to do? And this is the reality of NGOs. This is why Karl Marx says that democracy leads to socialism. This is why the left and progressive, they push for democracy because they know that's how they're going to get their way. That's the avenue in which they can usher in socialism. This is some scary stuff. But that's just the inconvenient truths. NGOs are a special interest group, right? If I told you, hey, a nobility class wants to control all information and anything that challenges nobility class, they censor it, they remove it. People will say, yeah, that's wrong. Just because you're rich and powerful, we should be allowed to criticize you. Well, this is what they try. Didn't they just try to put a ministry of truth? Criticizing the government, you criticize the WHO institution, you get a video banned and then banned and removed from YouTube, and then you get a strike on your channel. They're literally setting it up. They're slow creeping this stuff, and it takes a vigilant and watchful people to maintain the republic. This is what Thomas Jefferson warned, and now we're seeing it in 4K. Now we're seeing it in real life. This is what happens when you don't heed the warnings of your ancestors. This is what happens when you don't follow tradition. You expose yourself to the problems that tradition had fixed. And this is a big problem in our Western society. And I think this is where a lot of conservatives are pushing, hey, let's go back to traditionalism. Because we have regressed as a culture, and that's the truth. But I digress. Let me know your thoughts about this inconvenient truth. What are your thoughts on NGOs? You agree with me, disagree with me? I'd like to hear all your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate you guys watching this episode of Inconvenient Truths, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.